I don't make sense and I'm angry, because I am. And I apologize in particular to you because I actually think you have a lot of sensitivity for these issues and have dealt with some of them in the past. And I apologize that you need to carry on your back the burden of the past wrongs. But that is the situation for all of us. So let me say a few things. One is, it's very difficult for us that when the Asian play comes along, it's suddenly mythical and multicultural, but not when that's not the case. That's difficult for us. It's incredibly irritating. So please, don't take the vitriol, take the meaning behind it. Irritating to hear terms like multicultural and colorblind used to reduce the number of minority roles. When in the bad old days when those terms were invented, even the racist white producers would never claim casting a white person in a black role was colorblind casting. They were terms designed to increase the opportunities for minorities, not to reduce them. And if you're going to use them, then you cannot apply them only in plays where there are minority roles, because that's just discrimination. If you're going to use that term, it has to be that way all the time. And if you're reflecting the California scene, that means all the ostensibly white roles in your play, not just role average, all the white roles in your play should be played greater than 50% by, less than 50% by non-Hispanic whites. All the white roles in your plays. Not you have one black play, so 25% of our season was black. All the white roles need to be 50% non-white. That's California. So,
thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
And then finally, I don't answer Cindy's question here in public forum, but at night before you fall asleep or when you wake up in the morning and you're honest with yourself, if this was a mythical story set in mythical Africa, how many of these roles would have been played by white people? You really have to think and then think, what is the difference? And actually, I do have a couple other points. I'm sorry.
I think
One is on the issue of artistic freedom. I agree. We all want to have infinite artistic freedom, but we live within the context of today. And we have, with freedom comes responsibility. And if you are being a moral person, we all have freedom of speech. We can all use the C word for women and the N word for blacks and call us chinks and goofs and slant eyes out on the street, but we don't do that. And so when we're exercising artistic freedom in the theater, we need to decide morally, are we doing the right thing? We need to reflect. And I do have one other thing. Why does it seem comfortable to you that
Sir,
wait.
Sir, no, I'm sorry.
Wait.
You've had a lot of time. And
yes, you have.
Give me one.
No, you've had a minute. Please.
Sit down.
Please move on.
Listen.
No.
Wait.
Next person.
Let me just one more thing. Why does it feel comfortable? One thing, 1 minute. It'll take less time than arguing with me.
Sir, I'm so sorry, but look.
This will take less time than you're just telling me this.
There
Just
are
give me
a
this
bunch
moment.
of people that want to talk. We can go on to the next person.
I am. You know, I'm angry and I'm going to disrespect. Let me finish this one point. Sit down. Sit down.
Sit down.
Please move on.
It's okay.
Come on, dude. Jeez. Dude, you're being selfish, bro.
Please sit down.
We're with you. We hear you. Thank you.
The person with gray on? Yes. Yes, you.
Reconcile two statements. One was that the casting was always intentionally to be multicultural, and yet one workshop was entirely Asian. They seem to be discrepant to me. Can you explain that, please?
Perhaps I can speak on that topic as the author of the play, because I've been with this since when.
Use the microphone, please.
I said perhaps I can speak to that as the author of the play. I also just want to say, can I just also say, joining with Moises, how grateful we are for this dialogue, and I'm here as her student. When I began work on this show, it was in 2001. It was in the wake of 9/11. And what spoke to me in this story was the way the song of the human heart can bring down the walls that divide us. And this show has had 7 workshops over its period of development. The first workshop, beginning in 2003 at the O'Neill Conference, was multicultural. We had an African American woman playing the Empress Dowager. We had an Indian American actor playing the young emperor. It was always a story about enlightenment. That seemed a beautiful casting choice to me at the time. As we continued to develop the play, we, in 2007, did a workshop with the American Conservatory Theater with a different director on board, in which we, James Lapine, we thought we should really try an all-Asian cast and see what this brings to the story and brings to the telling of the story. It was, in fact, a beautiful workshop of the piece, but we all came out of it feeling a number of things, one of which was that we felt as white creators, it was not, we would not presume to tell or to know the story of Asia, that we felt that the music which existed for the piece and the storytelling, which is more than anything else informed by Shakespeare, really, is my influence, and coming from a Danish telling of a story, it felt like something I didn't want to tell, a story only about Asia. I felt that, I understand these comments may be hurtful, but I want to speak honestly as you have. That I wanted to tell a story that reflected the world in which I live, which is multicultural and multi-ethnic. I think that I still feel that. And I understand and feel and embrace what you've said, and I truly mean that I'm here as your student. I truly feel that. I think that some of the objections and hurt that have been caused by the place names and the character names of this play, I'm responsible for that. I mean, we're all a team, I'm not saying solely. But I must say, in my show Spring Awakening, for example, all the place names are German, all the character names are German, the costume design is informed by German costumes of the 19th century. We had very little set, but all the set pieces, those of you who may have seen it, was a blank stage, all the set pieces in the back were of German heritage, and yet we cast a Jewish girl in the leading role. And over the time period that this play was done, we, cast, a number. The Asian American actress whom we cast as the princess in the show, I knew because she was playing a German schoolgirl for me in Spring Awakening, and I must say I will continue to cast her in any variety of roles throughout my lifetime. She's someone I want to continue to work with forever. I feel, I don't feel like we're here on trial. I really feel like we're here to have a conversation about how to go forward. And I think, as we've said, there are issues that are political, and they have to do with, the long-standing inequities of the system in American theater. And I think, as an artist of social consciousness, we need to be mindful of those issues and to address them. And I think that I also have to address what's in my heart and my artistic vision for this piece. And I think if art is anything, it exists to bring out the humanity in all of us. And that is what we're trying to tell in this song of this bird, of the nightingale, who brings out the humanity in a man whose heart has been closed and turned cold. And so what I can say is it was not that we set out. In other words, I don't think that, for me, there is no discrepancy. We did not set out to do an all-Asian cast, an all-Asian version, and then give up on that idea. Rather, it's something we explored, as this cast is something we're exploring on a piece which remains to be finished. Finally, I would say that unlike Shakespeare in creating Midsummer Night's Dream and setting it in Athens, unlike Bertolt Brecht in creating Good Woman of Szechuan, I was not writing for a company of actors. I was writing for a vision that was in my mind. And that vision always was and remains to be multicultural, multi-ethnic. And however imperfect its realization here may be, that's the vision I continue to embrace for the piece.
Excuse me.